This is Andi Purewal for Boxing News. I'm joined by promoter Ben Shalom here in Birmingham. Ben, bringing big time boxing back here. What has prompted that? The second city gets boxing back.
It's your hometown as well. What's prompted it is the talent here. It's crazy when you look at the medalists in Tokyo, and obviously Whittaker, Clark, Yafai, and then even the next cycle coming through. But even the talent outside of that here at the moment is really good, really strong. And it's time, and it's been so long. It doesn't really happen for Birmingham or the Midlands. Manchester, Liverpool like strongholds, and I think it's because they've had the Ricky Hatton effect in Manchester has just lasted, and now and Crawler and we have serious fan base there and regular shows, and same with Liverpool, and even in Newcastle more, and in London and Birmingham and Midlands gets missed. There's a load of reasons why, but right now, because of the talent and the potential superstars here, and the fact that the way it's selling and the way the appetite for it, it's good. This will be the first of many. There's a reason we're here. We want to build our stars in the Midlands, and we see it as a huge place of potential, and excited for the first one.
Ben, by all accounts, tickets have gone very well. Speaking to the fighters who have sold tickets locally, they are very happy with what they've managed to sell as well. Must be music to your ears.
Yeah, it's really exciting. As I say, when a city like Birmingham hasn't had big time boxing, it's they're now getting it, and also I think they're excited about the fact that Ben Whittaker, Fraser Clark will be selling out this arena in a few years, maybe even less than that, and this is where it starts, and the interest is very, very good. There's some great fights for Tyler Denny and Casey Benjamin, both local lads in 50-50 fights really. Casey has to win, so does Sean McComb. Tyler Denny fighting Macaulay McGowan as well. Kirsty Bavington in the historical British title is also from here. Shakan Pittis on the stream, as well as Corey Gibbs, both in good fights as well. So it's a great card, but it's more exciting where it can go with Midlands now, and really, really happy with it.
The headline man, Joshua Buatsi, unfortunately he's not a Brummie, but he's back. He hasn't fought for over a year now. So, Stepien, what are you expecting from Josh in this fight?
You know what it was? It was we promised we'd get him out. We only signed him 5-6 weeks ago, and we wanted a proper fight very quickly. And Stepien was prepared for Callum Smith, so he's had an advantage on Buatsi. Buatsi has had a 5-week camp after 12 months off against a guy that's fought his way to number 4 in the IBF, that's come through unbeaten. If you speak, we work very closely with KO Promotions, who we did the Babbage fight with. He's a serious fighter and a talent for them, and this is going to be a tough fight. He can't look beyond Saturday night. There's a lot of pressure on him. He needs to make a statement, but as I say, as a boxing fan, I'm excited to watch Joshua Buatsi. I think we all are. He's one of the most exciting fighters that we have. I just want to see him active now. I want to see him in the big fights, and yes, Saturday night is a special moment for us because we were so delighted to sign him. We think we've got some absolutely huge fights to come this year in the business end of his career, and really, really happy for him because I can feel the frustration when I'm sat with him. I can feel the frustration. He just loves to fight. He started boxing because he loves to fight. There's nowhere he prefers than being in the ring, and that is the God's honest truth, and that's all he wants to do, and he gets to do that on Saturday night, and I'm hoping for an absolute statement from him.
I know people have been speaking about that Dan Aziz fight, which could be a massive fight down south in London. Away from that, he has his ambitions to become a world champion. The talent's always been there. The fires are all obviously spread across different promotional platforms, but for you, how confident are you we will see Josh Buatsi challenge for world honours at some point within, say, the next year?
I'm absolutely convinced, and he deserves it, and he's fought his way to be there, and he's fought his way to number 1 positions and the top positions in all the governing bodies. So I'm certain, and he'll get it on the big platform that he wanted, and that's not a jibe anywhere else. He wants the big fights. It's up to him where he wants to have those big fights, and Stepien, after 12 months out, is a tough opponent. You can't expect fighters that aren't boxing regularly to perform at their best, and really looking forward to him getting active. As I say, from a fan point of view, he's one of my favourite fighters. I'm not even I love watching Joshua Buatsi. I think it's you don't get many fighters that are that talented, that exciting, that willing to get in a war, that willing to come forward. And we get to see it on Saturday night, and I promise to keep him active. I promise to keep him active, and we will see him in some unbelievable fights in the next year.
Lauren Price, Kirsty Bavington, must be a proud moment for you personally, Ben, to be able to deliver the first ever British female title fight. Just talk me through this one, what you're expecting.
I'm expecting the first time where we really see how good Lauren Price is in the pro ranks. Kirsty Bavington is going to, we know how game she is. She's going to come forward and have a war. And so for Lauren to be taking that this early on in her career straight away is impressive, but nothing that you wouldn't expect from the most decorated amateur we have. I think she's going to do amazing things. It's fitting for both of them. Kirsty gets to do it in relatively her hometown, and Lauren Price gets to have another moment of history. I think it's a real proper fight. It's a credit to the sport that we've even got any depth in Britain now to be able to put on British titles. And yeah, unbelievable to put on the first one. Like, this is a historical moment that's started in 2012 and is culminated in this moment, and the first women's night in October as well. It's special, and yeah, thanks to all the promoters and the ones that have invested in women's boxing. This isn't because of us. This is a history of many years of investment, and we get to see a great fight, and it's a special moment.
Ben's over, man to my left, to your right, sat down there doing an interview, flashy, stylish, talks the talk, waiting to see if he can walk the walk throughout his professional career now. But how excited are you to see his journey pick back up and what is somewhat of a second debut back in his hometown, or close to his hometown rather?
He's a massive part of who we are and what we do, and we signed him, and above other fighters that we could have signed, it was a massive signing for us, and his debut was ridiculous, and it was devastating for him, for us, the injury coming on so early in his career. But I'm glad that he was sensible. He's got it out of the way. Yes, he took what is now nearly 6, 7, 8 months out, but yeah, it feels like a new signing, and he's going to be filling up this arena. I've no doubt about it. You can see that he wants to be headlining already. He believes he should be headlining already. He's a funny guy, but he's also a ridiculously talented fighter, a ridiculously talented boxer, and yeah, we need them. A lot of fighters coming to the end now. The box office stars retiring. Who are the next ones? Adam Azim also banging his drum, and Ben Whittaker can't wait to get started. And yeah, feels like a new signing.
I think you were blushing a little there when you was looking over, Ben. Just moving away from Mr. Whittaker, just want to get your thoughts on a couple of topics. Obviously, we saw some news come out about David Light, who unfortunately suffered a stroke when he travelled back to New Zealand. I just wanted to kind of get an update from you, how he's recovering and what have you, if you've heard anything.
Yeah, you know, I spoke to Matt Rose before this came out about a week ago, and he told me, look, the good news is he's going to make a full recovery, and that's without a doubt. I think Lawrence, if you look back, David's so tough. He did take a lot of punishment in that fight. It wasn't the greatest fight, we all know that. And he nullified Lawrence, but he took a lot of punishment. And this happens in boxing, and yeah, it's devastating for him. I can't see him boxing again. His family came over, we got to know him. He's one of the true gentlemen in boxing. He doesn't need to box. If you know his family, he does it because he loves the sport. And it's a shame for him because he won't be able to box again, but the main thing is he'll be okay. His family will have their dad and their husband healthy and fit, and he will be fine. And he fought for a world title, and not many fighters can say that, and he deserved to. And yeah, special regards to him, and yeah, in touch with his promoter, and he will make a full recovery.
It's obviously great news to hear, Ben, and of course our well wishes go out to David, his family, his team, and everybody who's close to him. But sticking with the cruiserweights, a certain Mr. Richard Riakporhe penned a new deal.
Yeah, I mean, it was never in doubt for us.
He called you a potato in my interview with him last year.
Yeah, I know, I saw that. It was funny. Never in doubt. I mean, Richard's like with certain fighters, is guys that we've been with for a while, and when we signed him, he hadn't been active for 18 months or 2 years maybe. His development's been devastating. 4 knockouts, I think, out of 4. The first fight went to points, and then 4 knockouts since. He's one of those few fighters that literally can end a fight in any round. And I believe he can translate that at world level. I truly believe that. He's always been playing catch-up with other fighters. Coley, Billam Smith, great amateur records, great amateur experience, whilst Richard's been learning on the job and still winning fights, truly learning on the job. He's now had that for a couple of years. He's ready for his... He is the most devastating fighter and the most talented fighter that hasn't got a world title in that cruiserweight division. I truly believe that. And a big year for him, massive year. We get to see how good is Richard Riakporhe, how good is he world level, and we'll see that this year.
I know you're kind of probably a little fed up of promotional beef, shall we go with, but I've seen Eddie Hearn say that he's open to working and communicating with you a little bit more. He says that you speak quite a bit with Frank Smith from Matchroom, not necessarily dealing with him, but he's not opposed to working together. Is that kind of music to your ears?
Yeah, that's great, and it hopefully can avoid clashes. It hopefully can make fights, and we have a good relationship with George, and that's great to hear. And yeah, what more can fans want? That's all we want. And look at the amount of boxing going on at the moment. In May and June, how popular boxing is right now is actually, I know there's all these complaints and this and that. May 6th that we've put on here, we couldn't have dreamt of selling this many tickets. May 27th has pretty much sold out the stadium from 2,000 last year, which Chris Bill and Smith. The infrastructure we've got down there now is incredible, and thank you to Joe who will watch this. But June the 10th sold out, York Hall, Adam Azim. June 17th, over 75% tickets sold. So way better than the first fight. Boxing's really popular right now. There's other schedules that are extremely good as well. If we can work together, if we can say, right, you're going this Saturday. I know it's not always possible, but wow, it's phenomenal. May 27th, yes, it's unfortunate that we're clashing, but look how many world titles are on display in the UK. Incredible. And yeah, it'd be great. I think if promoters can communicate and talk, that's what we always wanted. It's sometimes hard to avoid. We want to avoid it, and that's good to hear. And let's hope we can start to communicate more.
One thing you did ask is kind of if there'll be any movements on the ring walk times May 27th. Obviously, you've got a show. There's a show on BT over in Ireland, the Mick Conlon one, and also obviously Matchroom have their show with Lara Wood too. Any communication there, ring walk time?
I would ask him to go later on that occasion, because we're in a stadium, it's outdoor, we have licensing things and all sorts, and he'll know that as an experienced promoter. I think there's a way to avoid it. It's unfortunate because our chief support, Lawal Chamberlain, is probably going to be fighting the night. Pigford Eggington is a ridiculous fight and is only going one way. So it's a shame that we're clashing. I wish we could have gone on the Sunday. I wish someone else had gone on the Sunday. I wish we could have. We couldn't because of Bournemouth playing. Someone should go on the Sunday. If we can't, this is one we'll have to accept, and maybe better communication going forward will avoid it. But this was the date we had to take with the stadium. It's such a historical moment, and we're restricted from a licensing point of view. But if there's any way that on this occasion others can avoid it, please do. And then going forward, we will sit down and I hope sit down and start to look at schedules and make sure that the big fights don't clash.
One fight I want to propose to you is one of Liam Smith versus Smith-Benn. Now, they've had a bit of back and forth. Liam currently a boxer fighter. I know he's got the Eubank Junior fight in the pipeline and scheduled for June. But if Liam comes through that, do you think if the relationship goes well and continues to build, you could enter talks over a potential Benn-Liam Smith fight?
I think when Benn's licensed again, 100%. And I don't mean that as disrespectful to Benn. It just seems strange to be talking about it until that's sorted, and it needs to be sorted, and I'm confident it will be, and I'm excited that we get the prospect of seeing Benn again. Let's make sure that he goes through the UCAP process before I think we talk about fights. There's so much talk about fights that might happen in boxing anyway, but to go even further to an extreme and talk about fights between fighters that aren't licensed yet or haven't gone through, it's just talk, isn't it?
But one you'd be open to, provided he does come back with a licence.
Liam is 34 years old. He's won a world title. He knows what he's doing. He wants the big fights. He wants the big names. He's gonna, of course, is a question. But I'd hate to be boring. There's no point until things progress.
That's fair enough, Ben, and we'll wrap that up there. So it's a pleasure as always. Thank you, and enjoy your time in Birmingham.
Cheers, mate. Thank you.